News cameras were allowed access into one of the nation's busiest border processing facilities Tuesday. It comes as the Biden administration struggles to keep up with an influx of unaccompanied migrant children in government-run shelters. Natalie Brandt has more.
It is a little foggy today.
News cameras rode with Customs and Border Patrol agents along the Texas border, where officials are facing a surge in migrants trying to cross into the U.S. This mother fled on a raft from Guatemala with her 2-month-old baby. She says there's too much poverty and violence in her country. The number of unaccompanied minors entering is setting new records. More than 18,000 are currently in U.S. custody.
The parent pays a fee to the smuggler.
Our cameras were also allowed inside a temporary border processing facility in Donna, Texas, where children are legally only supposed to stay for no more than 72 hours.
I have about 39 kids that have been here for over 15 days. For whatever reason, they have fallen through the system or through the cracks.
The Biden administration has launched an unprecedented effort to move the unaccompanied minors to more appropriate facilities run by Health and Human Services.
HHS will open 9 emergency facilities with more than 16,000 beds, and it's considering additional sites. The Secretaries of Homeland Security and Health and Human Services are expected to brief House members on the border situation Wednesday. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Washington.
For more, let's bring in BuzzFeed News immigration reporter Hamed Aleaziz. Thank you very much, Hamed, for being with us. On Monday, Republican Senator Ted Cruz of Texas visited a Dallas convention center where the government is housing thousands of unaccompanied migrant minors. Here's how he described conditions at the facility. Let's listen to that.
There are a series of cages in which children are lined up. They're not 6 feet apart, and they're not 3 feet apart. They are lying on the floor. There are no beds, side by side, touching each other, packed into maximum capacity at the Donna facility. Children are testing positive for COVID at a rate of about 10%. And they're packed in so tightly that it is an obvious public health risk to those children and to the communities in which those children are being released.
Now, it was a Democrat, Texas Congressman Henry Cuellar, who actually released the first photos from inside the Donna Border Patrol facility, which Senator Cruz was referencing there. So how transparent has the Biden administration been about these shelters?
Yeah, I mean, up until today, there was no media access to the Border Patrol facilities, especially that Donna facility. And I think, today having the AP and CBS visit was likely as a result of the pressure from politicians on both sides of the aisle. And I think, the more access media has to these facilities, the better.
Well, there is new polling about the administration's handling of immigration in general. What are the bottom lines?
Well, the bottom line is only 34% of people approve of the way the Biden administration is handling the topic of immigration. And I think that's quite concerning for the administration. We've seen in recent weeks they've tried to reframe the issue as the administration is trying to take care of children arriving on their own at the border, whereas former President Trump expelled them back to their home countries. Obviously, this message is not resonating with the majority of the public, as we're seeing more of these images of children in these overcrowded facilities.
Yeah, well, the Biden administration says that it wants to do more than just beef up border security. Vice President Harris tweeted out this picture of her meeting with the special envoy for the Northern Triangle on Monday. What is in the works, and when can we expect to see some kind of results?
It's really unclear. I mean, the focus so far from the administration, from both President Biden and the Vice President, has been on addressing the root causes of migration from Central America. But, when we talk about those issues, it feels more long-term. In the short and medium term, as the administration is dealing with an increasing number of children and families crossing the southern border, they'll need other solutions as well, beyond just creating capacity, trying to create more shelters at the border for these families, for the children as well.
And Hamed, BuzzFeed first reported on and CBS News later obtained an email in which Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas urged employees to volunteer to assist in the migrant influx at the border, saying COVID-19 vaccines have been made available to volunteers who want them. What exactly are these volunteers being asked to do?
Yeah, so the major issue right now is HHS is trying to, as quickly as possible, get children placed with family members across the U.S., parents, other relatives, and they need people to come in and help them process these children out of the shelters. And so I think that's going to be the key focus for these federal employees who come there, is to interview children, interview their parents, and try to help this the system and relieve the overcrowding in the Border Patrol stations.
It really seems to underscore the urgency of this issue. Hamed Aleaziz, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.